It's Babu Blake's in Dallas with Guru and Solar. They're playing at the Granada Theater. They're on tour right now promoting Jazzmatazz 4, and I'll let them tell you the rest of what you need to know.
What's poppin', yo? We in the house. I'm Guru. Solar in the building. 7 Grand Records in the building. Yeah, we're on tour, you know, currently with the 7 Grand Band. Hand-picked musicians by Solar from all over. Some of the top musicians in the game. We got one of the hottest hip-hop bands ever, you know, and we've just been hitting state to state across America, putting it down, you know, and it's a beautiful thing. The new album is in stores, 16 banging tracks produced by the super producer here. We got everybody from Damian Marley to Common, you know, we got jazz legends like Bob James, Ronnie Laws, David Sanborn. We got Karen Wheeler from Soul II Soul, Vivian Green, Dion Ferris from Arrested Development. We got Slum Village, Black Alicious. You know, we got people like Raheem Devon, Cam, Omar. It's sick. It's a sick lineup, star-studded affair. The album has something for everybody. I think it's my best work yet.
How did you come up with the material? Is it something you do on the road? Is it something you script before the music comes? What's the process with the music? Because that's your music is the shit, well, basically.
With this album, you know, I really wanted to just focus on writing and stuff. And, you know, now that I have my partnership with the super producer here, I'm able to do that because he took on, you know, the responsibility of putting all the music together. And I guess I was just an extra pair of ears around the studio, but it's amazing what he did, you know, because the first 2 I did production, and the 3rd one I had a bunch of different producers, and after the 3rd one I knew that I wanted to go back to just having one producer. And Solar and I, we already put our first album together out in 2005 on 7 Grand Records, which we started in 2004. The first album was called Guru Version 7.0, The Street Scriptures.
Sir. And
that was like the tip of the iceberg as far as producer-artist, you know, relationship. And with Jazzmatazz now, that project though, we did very well with a small distribution network, and it enabled us to set up a bigger thing for Jazzmatazz 4. And you know, with Jazzmatazz 4, it's a lot freer because it is hip hop plus. So we're able to do much more things with it. And you know, I can't say enough about the incredible job that Solar has done on the project, and I'm just very pleased with it.
How'd you go about picking the musicians? Because y'all's resources are very vast, you know. How'd you narrow it down?
I mean, there's a difference between, you know, choosing musicians for 7 Grand Band, who I handpick musicians all over the world, which I now have the honor and the notability to say I'm the first producer in hip-hop to tour an international band. It's been done in rock, most notably Peter Gabriel and Sting toured international bands, but I'm the first hip-hop producer ever to place an international band on tour around the planet Earth, which I'm very proud of. The 7 Grand Band, the lineup from Africa, from Belgium, from the UK, from London, from America, from the Bronx, Canada. It's really a beautiful thing. And you know, times like this, I think it's important that, you know, music be somewhat of a healing force, or give people another way to look at it. You know, we know that we've seen the disharmony that exists in the world, so, you know, showing that we can still come together and create and have positive interaction is important. Like, this is the first time this band has been to America to tour, so they're seeing America just like the first times I went to Europe to tour. I've toured Europe and same with Guru, so it's kind of a meeting of the minds. And, you know, the people here in Texas have been wonderful. Austin was definitely a beautiful, but hot. Probably hotter than anything they have experienced in Europe.
Oh, that stage was like,
it had to be 120 degrees, but you know, we did our full set. We definitely had a great time. It was a great night in Austin, Texas.
Nice. Most of us have never been to all these countries, man. Can you describe the cultures, man, and the different spots you guys are hitting?
Well, I mean, we actually did a month and a half in Europe before we started this tour, so we've been on tour constantly. And you know, we hit everywhere from London to Austria to Germany to Switzerland to Sweden to Spain to Amsterdam to Anything else I'm leaving out? Scotland.
We flew from the Czech Republic of Prague
Yeah.
into this tour. I mean, what it is that Europe, before I went to Europe, you know, I kind of saw Europe as one entity, as an American. But it's quite different. Each country has their own subtleties, even when they speak the same language, like Belgium and France. But at the same time, very different. Very different. You know, Belgium being a city like Paris is a big city, but the nuances are there. You know, even with Switzerland and Germany and so on. Even though they may speak the same language, their cultures are subtly different. And as you travel, you see. So I guess when they say that people should travel to Europe to, you know, expand or broaden their horizons, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So I say to all you young cats out there, you know, while you still got a chance before you get married and have the kids and get settled down, take a trip to Europe and, you know, go out there and see those people. They're good people, man.
Can you talk more about your musical background and your experience and your approach, the way you see music?
Well, you know, it's interesting in that, you know, I'm not a professional producer by trade. When I met Google, you know, me and Google were basically equals financially. Maybe it might be considered I was a little bit beyond him, you know, economically.
I was borrowing money from him.
You know what I mean? So we met as friends, and you know, I'm born and raised. I'm a thoroughbred New Yorker, and you know, I found his lifestyle interesting. It was diametrically opposed. At the point in time when he met me, I was in the process of giving back. So I was working with homeless children in New York. You know, it's a very serious problem that still exists at this moment. That, you know, doesn't get enough attention. You know, I think the last thing that a child should have to worry about in this country is a place to live, or being penalized because mistakes or maybe non-mistakes that their parents have made, that they have to then be in the system that they have no place and they've done nothing to deserve that help. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's a whole nother topic. So we just basically, you know, got together. He was going through a rough patch with his label and his production situation. So we just basically decided to run around New York and have a little fun and lighten things up a little bit. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much what it was. You know, my background in music was just that. I'm born in New York, so hip hop flows through my blood. You know what I mean? It's the birthplace of hip hop, also the birthplace of jazz, which is interesting. And
Really?
Yes.
Not the South.
No, not the South.
I mean,
You had cats from the South that contributed, but Mecca, Harlem is the birthplace of jazz. That's where it all came together and it all formed the new jazz, which took parts of what was going on in the South. Yeah. Of course, you had Europeans that came over that had their influence. You had Afro-Caribbean influences. You had classically trained white cats. You had, you know, all these different elements came together in Harlem to form the culture, the language, the style that then took the world as jazz. But very interesting that you made that point, that it definitely borrowed heavily from the R&B of the South, and even the Negro, so-called Negro spirituals or hymns, you know. But that's been my story with jazz and hip hop from the doors. It's just people don't know enough about it. Once I delved into this project, I just found it so interesting, and the correlations between hip hop and jazz are immense. But back to my story, as long or short as it might be, you know. So being born and raised in New York, I was exposed to so many different forms of music. You know, coming up, I ran with different types of cats. You know, I had little Latin cats, and of course my brothers and sisters, and my little white cats. You know what I mean? So in each household, I experienced different music. You know what I mean? And running with them, and I always liked all music. I never really saw one music as better than another. So I couldn't get enough of it all. I love the Latin. I love jazz. I love the funk. I love the rock. You know, certain rock, and so it was all really just a part of my background to be musical. You know what I mean? So I played different instruments. I liked to jam. So when hip hop came along, it caught my attention right away. And I loved that whole concept of two turntables and DJ, the one-man band aspect of it, MC spitting. And then when I went to my first jam and I got a little old enough to sneak into a jump off, then I was like, this is it, man. This is where it's at. We got the chicks, we got the music, it's all us. We can do this, you know what I mean? And the clothes came right out of it, the breakdancing was right there. So I really have formed the man who I am right now. You know, hip hop had a huge part in my personality and how I approach the world.